The world stopped breathing at exactly 14:37 Universal Time Coordinated. No warning sirens blared. No emergency broadcasts interrupted regular programming. Instead, every single screen on the planet, from the largest stadium displays to the tiniest smartphone, flickered simultaneously with an image that would be burned into humanity's collective memory forever. A being stood center frame. Not human, not quite comprehensibly alien, but undeniably intelligent. Its form seemed to shimmer between solid and translucent, with angular features that defied human understanding of anatomy. When it spoke, the words appeared not as sound, but as crystalline thoughts that materialized directly in every viewer's mind. Inhabitants of Earth, the voice resonated, you have been selected. Dr. Elena Rodriguez gripped her coffee mug so tightly it threatened to shatter. As the lead researcher at the Global Xenological Studies Institute, she had dedicated her entire career to the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. Yet nothing in her decades of theoretical work could have prepared her for this moment. The alien continued, its communication a blend of clinical precision and something that felt almost like anticipation. Your planet has been evaluated. Your species has been chosen. Chosen for what? The unspoken question hung in the air, suspended between billions of simultaneously held breaths. This is a survival game, the alien declared. The phrase struck like a thunderbolt, instantly transforming from abstract concept to terrifying reality. The rules are simple. Humanity will face a series of challenges. Your collective response will determine your fate. Behind the alien, holographic displays began to shimmer into existence. Complex geometric patterns interwove with what appeared to be mathematical equations, biological diagrams, and sequences that seemed to pulse with an inner life of their own. In living rooms, laboratories, military command centers, and street corners across the globe, humans stared in collective shock. Some felt terror. Others, an inexplicable surge of excitement. A few, like Elena, recognized this as the most significant moment in human history. The alien's final statement sent a chill through every listener: you will be tested. Not as individuals. Not as nations. But as a species. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the transmission ended. The screens went dark. But the silence was short-lived. Within moments, the first phone calls began. Governments scrambled. Scientists mobilized. And somewhere, deep in the collective human spirit, something else awakened, a primal, defiant spark of determination that had survived ice ages, world wars, and countless challenges throughout human history. The game had begun. 12 hours after the global transmission, the United Nations Emergency Council convened in a hastily secured underground facility beneath New York City. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself seated between military strategists and global leaders, her research suddenly more critical than she could have ever imagined. The holographic display at the center of the room flickered to life, revealing a three-dimensional representation of the alien communication system. Chief Diplomatic Analyst Marcus Chin pointed to the pulsing geometric patterns. It's not just a transmission, he said, his voice a mixture of excitement and apprehension. It's a complex information network that seems to be actively monitoring our responses. Elena leaned forward, her analytical mind racing. The alien communication wasn't a one-way broadcast, it was an adaptive system that responded to human activity in real time. A massive screen displayed simultaneous global reactions. In Tokyo, entire corporations had ground to a halt. London's financial districts buzzed with frantic speculation. Beijing's research institutions were already dissecting every pixel of the previous transmission. The world was united in its uncertainty. Suddenly, the holographic display transformed. A set of symbols appeared, part mathematical equation, part biological diagram, part something entirely unrecognizable. Words materialized beneath the complex imagery. Survival game, initial parameters. collective assessment, resource allocation, adaptive challenge response. It's like a global test, Elena muttered, more to herself than anyone else. But the parameters are deliberately obscure. Military General Victoria Reyes interjected, her voice sharp. We need to understand the consequences. What happens if we fail? As if in response, another message appeared. Failure consequence, species quarantine. Success criterion, collective problem-solving threshold. The room fell silent. Species quarantine, a term that suggested something far more nuanced and potentially terrifying than simple extinction. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, a renowned quantum physicist, broke the silence. It's not just about survival, he said, adjusting his glasses. It's about proving our collective intelligence. The aliens are evaluating our ability to work together, to solve complex problems as a unified species. The implications were staggering. This wasn't a traditional conflict. This was a comprehensive examination of human potential. Within hours, an unprecedented global collaboration began. Research institutions shared data in real time. Governments temporarily set aside decades-old conflicts. The Internet became a massive, interconnected problem-solving platform. Yet beneath the surface of cooperation, tension simmered. Some nations saw the alien challenge as an opportunity for geopolitical advantage. Others feared total societal breakdown. Back in the UN facility, Elena noticed something peculiar about the holographic display. The geometric patterns seemed to respond to the discussions in the room, shifting, morphing, almost, listening. They're watching, she whispered to Chen. Not just observing. They're actively analyzing our every move. As day turned to night, the first challenge began to take shape. The holographic display started generating complex scenarios, environmental simulations, resource allocation problems, intricate social dynamics that seemed to test humanity's collective problem-solving capabilities. The survival game had moved from abstract concept to terrifying reality. And humanity's first true test was about to begin. The first challenge arrived without warning, projected simultaneously on every digital screen across the planet. A complex three-dimensional grid materialized, representing a global ecosystem under extreme stress. Cities flickered like fragile neural networks. Environmental indicators pulsed with alarming intensity, water resources depleting, energy grids destabilizing, climate systems teetering on the brink of catastrophic collapse. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched from the UN Emergency Command Center as the holographic display transformed into an interactive challenge. Small text appeared, Global Resource Optimization, 72-hour window. It's not just a simulation, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka muttered, his fingers flying across multiple holographic interfaces. It's a real-time model of our planet's current vulnerabilities. The challenge seemed impossible. Reduce global resource consumption by 40% while maintaining critical infrastructure, without causing societal breakdown. No single nation could solve this alone. No technological quick fix existed. Within hours, an unprecedented global collaboration emerged. Silicon Valley tech companies partnered with renewable energy researchers in Germany. Chinese manufacturing experts consulted with Brazilian agricultural specialists. European Union climate scientists collaborated with African sustainable development teams. The alien challenge had done what decades of international negotiations could not, it had created true global unity. Elena noticed something extraordinary happening. As different teams shared data and proposed solutions, the holographic grid began to respond. Sections would glow green when a collaborative solution showed promise, pulse yellow when a strategy needed refinement. They're not just testing us, she realized. They're guiding us. Unexpected innovations emerged. A team in Kenya developed a revolutionary water purification technique that could be rapidly deployed in drought-prone regions. Engineers in India created a modular energy grid design that could quickly redistribute power during critical shortages. Canadian researchers unveiled an agricultural optimization algorithm that could increase crop yields while dramatically reducing water and energy consumption. But the challenges weren't just technological. The alien system seemed to be testing human psychological resilience as much as technical capability. Communications networks became flooded with collaborative problem-solving platforms. Social media transformed from a space of division to a global think tank. People who had previously been strangers began working together, sharing insights, challenging each other's assumptions, but always with a fundamental respect. 72 hours into the challenge, something remarkable happened. The global resource consumption didn't just reduce by 40%, it dropped by 53%. The holographic grid erupted in a cascade of green, signaling not just success, but a level of collaborative achievement that exceeded the aliens' expectations. In the UN Command Center, General Victoria Reyes looked stunned. "We actually did it," she whispered. Dr. Tanaka adjusted his glasses, a rare smile crossing his face. "No. We did more than just do it. We proved something about ourselves." As the timer expired, a new message appeared across global screens. Challenge 1, completed. Collective efficiency, 137% of projected potential. Analysis, unexpected adaptive capability detected. The survival game had only just begun. But humanity had just served notice. They were not going to be passive participants. They were going to fight. The moment of revelation came unexpectedly. 48 hours after their successful first challenge, Dr. Elena Rodriguez discovered something that would change everything. While analyzing the alien communication patterns, she noticed an anomaly, a subtle encryption buried within the holographic transmissions that seemed to be leaking information. "This isn't just a test," she muttered, her fingers racing across quantum decryption algorithms. "This is something else entirely." The breakthrough came at 3:17 a.m., when the encryption partially unraveled. What Elena discovered made her blood run cold. The survival game was a mask. A carefully constructed facade hiding a far more complex reality. The alien transmission flickered in her private research terminal, revealing fragments of a conversation never meant to be intercepted. Bits of translated communication suggested that the survival game was actually an elaborate screening process. But screening for what? Preservation. The word appeared and disappeared, leaving Elena with more questions than answers. Preservation of what? Humanity? The planet? Something else entirely? Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka was the first person she called. As the quantum communications expert joined her research, they began to piece together a startling narrative. The aliens weren't just testing humanity. They were evaluating humanity as a potential candidate for something far greater. A galactic migration was coming. The fragments suggested an impending cosmic event, a massive stellar disruption that would render entire sections of the Milky Way uninhabitable. The aliens were searching for species capable of survival, of adaptation, of collective problem-solving that could transcend planetary boundaries. And humanity was a prime candidate. But there was a catch. A horrifying, complex catch that would challenge everything humans understood about their place in the universe. Only one species would be selected for preservation. And the survival game was their final examination. "We're not just being tested," Elena realized, her voice barely a whisper. "We're being auditioned for survival." The next challenge would be different. The aliens knew humans had exceeded expectations in the first test. This time, they would push humanity to its absolute limits. General Victoria Reyes received the encrypted briefing within hours. The military's top strategists gathered in a secure facility, their faces a mixture of excitement and terror. "This changes everything," she announced. "We're not just fighting to pass a test. We're fighting for our species' entire future." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the next challenge. But this was no ordinary simulation. This was a scenario that would test not just human technological capability, but the very essence of human moral and ethical potential. Survival was no longer just about resource management or technological innovation. It was about proving the fundamental worth of an entire species. The game had just become real. The revelation of the cosmic migration and species selection transformed everything. Within 72 hours of Elena Rodriguez's groundbreaking discovery, a global initiative unlike anything in human history took shape. Governments dissolved traditional boundaries. Competing corporations became collaborative networks. Every human resource, scientific, technological, cultural, and philosophical, was now focused on a single objective: prove humanity's worth. The United Nations Cosmic Preservation Initiative, UNCPI, became the nerve center of this global effort. Established in a converted military bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, it brought together the most brilliant minds from every corner of the planet. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka led the communications decryption team. His breakthrough came when they realized the alien challenges were more than simple tests. They were complex psychological probes designed to reveal the deepest aspects of human potential. They're not looking for technological superiority, Tanaka explained during a global broadcast. They're looking for adaptability, collective intelligence, and moral resilience. The next challenge would be their most complex yet. The holographic display appeared simultaneously across every digital screen on the planet, presenting a multi-layered scenario that defied traditional problem-solving approaches. A massive environmental simulation showed multiple planetary systems in crisis. Resources were limited. Potential solutions seemed impossible. The challenge required not just technological innovation, but a fundamental reimagining of human cooperation and ethical decision-making. General Victoria Reyes recognized the true nature of the test. This isn't about finding the most efficient solution, she told her team. This is about finding the most compassionate solution. Global think tanks emerged overnight. Universities suspended traditional curricula. Research institutions opened their databases completely. For the first time in human history, knowledge became a truly collective resource. Indigenous knowledge holders from the Amazon worked alongside quantum physicists from Moscow. Climate scientists from Bangladesh collaborated with agricultural experts from the American Midwest. Cultural anthropologists provided insights that pure technological approaches would have missed. The alien system seemed to react to this collaborative approach. The holographic display would pulse with different colors when collaborative solutions emerged: green for innovative thinking, blue for empathetic approaches, a brilliant white when solutions transcended traditional problem-solving paradigms. Elena Rodriguez noticed something extraordinary. The more humans worked together, the more the alien communication system seemed to change. It was almost as if the very act of collaboration was a language the aliens were learning to understand. We're not just solving a problem, she realized. We're communicating our fundamental nature. The challenge demanded solutions that balanced technological innovation with humanitarian considerations. It required thinking beyond immediate survival, considering the long-term implications for not just humanity, but the entire planetary ecosystem. As the 96-hour window of the challenge approached, something remarkable happened. The solutions being developed weren't just about survival. They were about transformation. Renewable energy designs that could restore damaged ecosystems. Agricultural techniques that could feed billions while regenerating the planet. Social structures that balanced individual innovation with collective well-being. The aliens were watching. And humanity was showing them something they might never have expected. We are not just a species fighting to survive. We are a species learning to thrive. The final challenge arrived like a storm. No warning. No gradual build-up. Just an instantaneous global transformation that pushed humanity to the very edge of its collective capabilities. Every communication network, every digital interface, every technological system suddenly displayed a singular, terrifying scenario. It was more than a simulation. It was an existential crucible that would define humanity's ultimate potential. The holographic display showed multiple planetary systems simultaneously experiencing catastrophic collapse. Resource depletion. Environmental breakdown. Social structures disintegrating. And at the center of this cosmic chaos, a single, impossible choice. Save one world, or find a way to save them all. Dr. Elena Rodriguez understood immediately. This was no ordinary test. This was a moral and intellectual gauntlet that would reveal the true essence of human nature. The challenge parameters appeared, each word carefully chosen to maximize psychological pressure. Challenge final, species-level decision. Resources, critically limited. Survival options, mutually exclusive. Time window, 48 hours. General Victoria Reyes gathered the global response team. The room buzzed with a combination of terror and determination. Scientists, philosophers, political leaders, and cultural representatives from every corner of the globe worked in a state of intense, unified focus. This isn't just about technological solution, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka observed, his eyes scanning the complex holographic projections. This is about our fundamental approach to existence. The simulation presented multiple planetary systems, each with its own unique challenges. Some worlds were on the brink of total environmental collapse. Others faced societal breakdown. A few teetered on the edge of technological self-destruction. Traditional thinking would demand selecting the most strategically valuable world. Choosing the system with the most resources. The most potential. But humanity had already proven it was anything but traditional. As the hours ticked down, something extraordinary began to happen. Instead of competing for limited resources, the global team started developing a fundamentally different approach. What if saving wasn't about choosing? What if saving was about transformation? Quantum physicists worked alongside environmental engineers. Cultural anthropologists collaborated with AI specialists. Indigenous knowledge keepers shared perspectives that modern scientific approaches had overlooked. They weren't just trying to solve a problem. They were reimagining the very concept of problem solving. The alien monitoring system seemed to pulse with an almost tangible sense of anticipation. Each collaborative breakthrough caused the holographic display to shimmer with increasing intensity. Elena noticed something profound. The more humans worked together, the more the seemingly impossible began to look achievable. With less than 12 hours remaining, a breakthrough emerged. Not a traditional solution, but a radical reimagining of resource allocation, technological intervention, and collective action. It wasn't about saving one world. It was about giving all worlds the tools to save themselves. The final moments of the challenge approached. Humanity held its collective breath. Everything, their future, their very existence, came down to these final hours. For precisely 17 minutes and 43 seconds after the challenge's conclusion, nothing happened. No alien transmission. No holographic display. No indication of success or failure. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood motionless in the UN Cosmic Preservation Initiative Command Center, surrounded by the global team that had just attempted the most audacious problem-solving effort in human history. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka gripped her shoulder. General Victoria Reyes held her breath. Then, everything changed. The holographic display reconstructed itself, not as a challenge, but as a comprehensive review of humanity's journey. Every collaborative moment. Every breakthrough. Every instance of collective thinking played out in intricate detail. The alien host appeared, but different this time. No longer a distant, clinical entity, but something that seemed to radiate a profound sense of understanding. Humanity, the communication began, you have been evaluated. The room held its collective breath. Your species was not selected for your technological capabilities. Not for your individual brilliance. But for something far more fundamental. The display showed moments of human collaboration. Scientists sharing breakthrough research. Communities supporting each other through environmental challenges. Strangers from different cultures working together to solve impossible problems. You demonstrated a capacity for collective transformation that transcends individual limitations, the alien host continued. Your species does not simply solve problems. You reimagine the very nature of problem solving. The final moments of their ultimate challenge replayed. Not the technological solutions, but the human moments. The conversations. The moments of empathy. The understanding that true survival was never about competition, but about collective growth. General Reyes watched as the replay highlighted a moment she had almost missed during the intense challenge. A young researcher from a small island nation had shared a perspective that completely changed their approach, not through advanced technology, but through a deep understanding of community resilience. Most species we have encountered, the alien host explained, see challenges as obstacles to overcome. You see them as opportunities to grow. To transform. To become something more than you were before. Dr. Tanaka realized the profound truth in that statement. Humanity's greatest strength was not in its individual capabilities, but in its ability to come together. To listen. To understand. To evolve. The final transmission contained more than just words. It was a comprehensive understanding of human potential. You are selected, the alien host declared, not as conquerors. Not as survivors. But as potential architects of collective transformation. What followed was an invitation. Not to a new world. Not to technological salvation. But to a cosmic collaboration that would require everything humanity had learned. As the transmission concluded, Elena Rodriguez understood the true lesson. Survival was never about individual triumph. It was about collective growth. About seeing challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to become something greater. The room erupted in a mixture of tears, laughter, and a profound sense of hope. Humanity had been tested. And humanity had transformed. The game was over. The real journey was just beginning.